Hi guys, welcome back to another video on Ed's Gluten-free Kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing a couple part series. So I'm going to be making in this video gluten-free phyllo dough, which you can use to make all sorts of stuff. Strudels, cabbage strudel, this Bulgarian pastry dish called banitsa is one of the things I'll be making. There's a lot of different things, even spanakopita. They all use this same dough called phyllo dough, which is this paper thin dough that is really hard to get gluten-free. So this is a long process. Buckle up. It does take about 2 to 3 hours from start to finish, and just follow my video. Today I'm going to be making 9 sheets of phyllo dough. So I'm going to use about 625 grams of gluten-free baking mix. I have King Arthur measure for measure flour. To this, I got a couple things to add. Number 1, psyllium husk. I got about 9 teaspoons in here, just a little less. Now xanthin gum. I have 4.5 teaspoons because there's some xanthin gum already in the baking mix. And finally, a teaspoon of salt. If you decide to use salted butter, you can use a little less. Not all bakers are perfect, and nor am I. I realized I messed up. So I added psyllium husk to this mix, but luckily I haven't stirred it yet and I haven't told you guys to stir it. So what's supposed to happen is now I'm going to take my psyllium husk and stir it into my 300 milliliters of water to make a psyllium gel, which replicates the gluten. So I messed up, so I'm just going to spoon out the psyllium husk, and having a little bit of flour is okay. The whole point is for the psyllium husk to be able to immediately absorb all this water, rather than have to wait later to have it absorb it in the flour. Then it'll just take a while, and it's not going to be as gluteny and stretchy. Just dump in your psyllium husk into this warm water. It's okay if you don't get all your psyllium husk out of the bowl, like I am. I'm expecting that you don't make this mistake. I'll put a disclaimer. Now, I'm going to give this a good stir and let it gel up for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, pick your number of seconds. I'm setting my psyllium husk gel aside. I'm going to give this a good stir and stream in my butter. Here we go. I got 150 grams of water, my half stick of melted butter. I'm going to pour this all in. And pour in this psyllium husk gel. You'll have to knead this. It's okay if you use your hand. Now, my final part of the dough part, making the dough, so I'm going to give this a good stir. You want everything to be homogenized and completely mixed together. Now, after a long time in kneading, I'm finally at the point where I can divide this up into 9 equal parts. So, to make that easier, what I like to do is going to be cutting this ball that has 9 servings into 3 groups, because 3 plus 3 plus 3, it's 9, the square root. So I'm going to use a scale to make this easier, just weighing to make sure each one is a full equal weight to the another. I don't have any measurement that you can be going for here. Now I got 3 equal parts. I'm going to knead them a bit more to keep them together and break each one into its own 3 separate parts. With my 3 equal sized balls, I'm going to roll each one into a ball and cover all but one of them, so they don't dry out. Let's get to rolling. So I'm here with my last lucky piece of dough. Yay. And I'm gonna try to form it into the best rectangle shape that I can, because what that shape is kinda gonna measure what it's gonna end up looking like. And lucky for me, I have an absurdly large rolling pin to make this easier. I recommend you follow how I do this in the visual picture. There's no great way to explain it, so just follow what it does. But this process of just rolling it and folding into thirds is my way of getting a good rectangle shape. goal here is to provide even pressure throughout, and that's going to lead to a good shape, which I consider this rectangle an even shape. Now, possibly the hardest part is making this paper thin. So this requires a lot of dusting of flour. So every other rolling, you would want to make sure you're dusting enough. And in the beginning, you need a lot of flour. But no great way to explain this. Just use a big rolling pin and add even pressure. And only go up to about half and pull. You don't want to go the whole way, it'll screw up. To avoid tearing like this, you need to make sure you have plenty of coating of flour, because this was a spot that I didn't and I got this hole. Hopefully I can patch it, but if not, it is really easy to tear. So you just want to maintain a lot of flour. If you're like me and you're about halfway and you get this weird shape, the best thing is just to remove these peninsulas. It's not gonna help at all, so why try to roll it? I'm just gonna make it worse. And you can just put this and mix it with your next batches, or you can try to push it in. I mean, next batches is the next things you're rolling out. I'm not interested in making this any thinner, and I want you guys to know this is not my first time doing this. This takes a lot of practice, and just getting it as thin as I did is really hard. I was putting all of my body weight into this rolling pin. But now that you have a sheet like this, you should coat it with plenty of flour so that it doesn't stick to itself. The best way to fold this is just fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, and fold it in half one last time. And this is how you're gonna store it until you use it. And this is usually only good enough to store it until the next couple of things, to store it for the next couple of hours before you do the next thing. So like me, I'm gonna put this to the side because I have 8 more sheets to make.